Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade. A little bit of news, and then we'll go on to a chart analysis here. But here you go. CFTC, I guess that stands for Commodity Futures Trading Commission, had a little hearing, and I hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears. All right. So from what I read, it looks pretty good. It looks like they're understanding or trying to understand, and trying to stay on top of this. But I'm I'm glad they're taking the time to learn. Um, I'm very pleased that they're looking into it, and it's kind of promising to hear that they're talking about letting the market decide what to do and not the regulators, which apparently have not been doing very well as far as um, certain tape recordings have indicated, or recordings in general. Anyways, um, that's good. That's good. I'm glad they're um, taking a positive view on this, and you know I'm I'm just overall um, am am pleased that they're not um, they're not acting like Russians or Ecuadorians or even the Chinese. All right, and that's good because we're not in Russia, we're not in Ecuador, we're not in China. Um, we're in the U.S. and so hopefully some good can come out of this. It's very promising to hear the good things that they're saying. So, but I don't know. Hopefully, there's some more information that'll come out of it. But um, until then, I'm gonna keep watching. And so, but let's go on to some other articles. And so, uh, I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna talk about the world of two, um, I guess, two nations, and how one versus the other were what totally totally different. And it's almost like we're back in the Cold War. It really is. I mean, I don't think we ever really left the Cold War. We just stopped calling it the Cold War. But from the US, let's go to Russia. And here's the article on Russia. Here is: Russia startups seek refuge abroad under threat of Bitcoin ban. And I just knew this was coming. I really did. And I mentioned in my previous episodes that Russians, the people of Russia, leave and basically abandon your, well, I guess you could say your country. I wouldn't say it's your country. It seems like somebody else's country. It seems like, I don't know, Putin's country. Um, but I guess I should say leave Russia. I wouldn't say it's your country because apparently it's not. But yeah, take your talent, take your knowledge, take your skill, take your jobs, take your wealth, and bring it on over somewhere else. Uh, it's just gonna. It's unfortunate because it's just gonna. Russia's gonna be just left in the dust. It's gonna perish away. You ever seen like an old person on their deathbed? Well, that's kind of what Russia's going to become, an old person on their deathbed. And, it's an old person that complains a lot, whines a lot, bitches and moans. Um, Something that no one really likes to be around with. And so, um, I'm glad some people are really, you know, just picking up and leaving because they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. Not even in their own country are they welcome. You're not even welcome in your own country to use Bitcoin. Isn't that kind of crazy? I wouldn't tolerate that. Um, you know, if there's anything anybody can do within that country to get rid of your leaders who are allowing this to happen, you should get rid of them. You should, what do they call it? Expel or something like that. I mean, you should just put them on an island and just leave them with no food or water and just let them rot. That's I'm a little biased on this, but I mean that's what you really should do. Uh, you should start another like revolution. So, anyways, this is a very, very long article, and it just goes on, and looks like people are really leaving. They're really seeking refuge in another country. That's not their country, and it's kind of weird. But, anyways, uh, in this particular section, they're talking about the people who are going to stay behind to fight on. Well, uh, that's very commendable, and I hope you can do something. I hope you can change from within, but I know it's going to be hard. I've never been to Russia, and I never plan on going now. They're just going to suffocate themselves from the rest of the world. I know they think they're going to, replace the dollar or whatever bullshit that they think. I always had this idea that the Russians are secretly planning the demise of the U.S. through the U.S. dollar by basically buying dollars, and then in hopes of one day amassing enough dollars to eventually flood the market with dollars. I don't think it's going to work because what's funny? In my experience, the banks don't even have enough money to do one-for-one trading. They're highly leveraged, fractional reserve. They probably need the money to come back. And everyone's worried about hyperinflation, but you know what? As long as I have my bitcoins, I don't have to worry about hyperinflation. And what this is going to do is, if there's anybody who thinks that dumping a whole bunch of dollars in the U.S. is going to cause the downfall of the U.S. economy, I got some news for you. It's kind of already been down. If anything, you'd be helping by bringing that money in, because people who have bitcoins, well, they're gonna make a gain, a big gain. And since Russia has banned bitcoins, they're gonna find that buying and selling oil and other commodities that are based on U.S. dollar, that are pegged to the U.S. dollar, they're thinking maybe they can get off the U.S. dollar. If you haven't done it in the last year, last 5 years, last 10 years, you're not going to do it anytime soon. That's just my opinion. So you're literally just hanging yourself out to dry, and you're killing your people. I'm telling you, you should uprise or rise up, one or the other, and get rid of those leaders, because they're going to lead you to basically into slavery and death. I'm telling you, that's not a lie. So read the article. It's very good, very long too, but I think Russia, you just made a really poor decision here. It's bad enough that you're just choking yourself to death, committing suicide. You're just committing suicide. That's all I gotta say. And then another article I wanted to share with you is something my attorney sent me. He wanted me to take a look at this and just let me know about this, just to make sure that I'm aware of it. In this particular article, the federal structuring laws are smurfing ridiculous. This is what he sent me. And I know he's talked about this before. He said, don't structure your payments and all that stuff. Now, structuring, what is this? What does this structuring mean? Well, if you read this particular article, structuring is basically trying to make deposits and intentionally trying to deposit under a certain amount to avoid basically a currency transaction report. Okay, and then you're intentionally doing it. Now, what alarms me about this particular article is that some of the definitions or wording has been changed so that and there it is. There's a case here where people not committing any crimes, not doing anything, no illicit activity or money laundering or anything, are just making deposits to their account, and they're being accused of structuring, which means you're trying to deposit so you knowingly avoid, currency transactions, currency transaction report. And each of these cases, I guess the accused are the people are the accused, the alleged accused, whatever, were prosecuted for either not knowingly, but just doing. They are just depositing money in, whether they knew or not, but just to avoid a currency transaction report. And having their money seized, and then not only seized, but basically taken from them. And then when they're found, nothing found of any really wrongdoing other than just depositing money into their accounts. I don't know the details, but just having their money taken from them by the government. And I guess in each of these cases, they're saying that people structured them. But I'm wondering, and this is the reason I brought it up, because when you trade Bitcoin, sometimes I'm not around to make that deposit. I'm not around. I can't be in New York and in Los Angeles at the same time. I can't be in two places at once physically to accept the payment and then make the deposit for the payment myself. So I don't instruct people to structure payments. Matter of fact, I have no control over what other people do. So I'm wondering if other people make payments or make deposits to your account, and these are other people at different places, different locations, or at even different times, who make deposits. The question is, am I structuring payments? Am I structuring? And how is that possible? Because if I'm not the one making the deposit, how am I structuring? And if it is structuring, who is structuring? Me? Or the person who's depositing? And it comes to a point where this structuring laws may not apply unless they're really willing to drastically change the definition of all this, to the point where they're literally going to accuse everybody for structuring just by making a deposit. And what's scary is that Congress has allowed, again, under the Bank Secrecy Act here, okay, according to this article, the Congress has allowed, and let's go to scroll down to some of the changes here. Okay, let's see here. Where is it? I'm just trying to find that particular case. Excuse me. Boy, it's a long article. Okay, here we go. The United States versus and Bear. I don't know what that means, but somebody. Turns out some Russian person. Although this particular person was found for not doing anything wrong, the fact that this woman, um, let me see, Yulia Ambar, an immigrant from Russia, was trying to close on a house when her bank in Russia would not wire her money for her deposit. She instead made a series of withdrawals from an account from ATMs, then deposited the cash in her domestic bank account. The question is whether she deliberately made several deposits of less than 10,000 to avoid having those deposits reported, or if she simply didn't know about the reporting law. Now, whether she didn't know or not, the fact that she did something like that, now she can have her assets seized. So basically what happened was Ambar was convicted, sentenced to 2 years probation, and was ordered to sell her new home and turn all proceeds over to the federal government. Welcome to America. Is this really happening? And it seems to be like an overzealous prosecutor can just go about, and here's another one. She's not the only one. A couple of years ago, the South Mountain Creamery, a dairy farm. Now I don't know the details, but you know, uh, if just making deposits to your own bank account and there's no illegal activity, there's no money laundering going on, that a federal attorney can just decide to slap some structuring charges on you, and then not even return all your money, or even just not return your money. It just seems like an overbearing, overreaching of power here. And you know, if this is how it's going to be, you know, an action must be taken about this. This is not acceptable. This is crazy. Regular people just going about their lives being accused of structuring because they just wanted to do something with their money. They want to move their money in a safe place. They want to buy something. They want to sell something. This is ridiculous. Anyways, I just want to let you know about that if anybody's watching, because I know that when you trade, you know, a lot of people I trade with, and I'm not scared of reporting because I intend to, you know, pay all my taxes. Basically, I'm going to fund the government. I'm going to prevent the government from collapsing. I'm going to pay off the national debt, and hopefully the future generations of Americans can live a much better life without being enslaved. And so my attorney just sent me this saying, hey, you know, you should know this, you know, because it could be a problem, you know, if that is. But here's the thing for me is like, I'm not making the deposits. All right, and I'm not telling people to structure. And also I have no control over what other people do. And if they are structuring, I'm not structuring. The depositors are structuring. I'm not trying to avoid anything. As a matter of fact, I've done so many currency transaction reports. I just tell the bank, hey, save me on file. Okay, so I don't have to spend 10 minutes here answering your questions and all that. Just put me on file, save me, and when I come back, you know, and if I have to do a report, I'll do the report. I'll claim my money. I'm gonna make a claim to everything I own and have. Um, I have nothing to fear, nothing to hide. So I just want to let everyone know that, because because a lot of Bitcoin trades and everything, um, for some reason people are, I had a chance to meet some people, some Bitcoiners, pretty much, and they're all afraid of using a bank, super paranoid, and that's fine. I understand. I'm paranoid as well, but they're all surprised that I, you know, trade using the banks. And I think there's some misunderstanding. I use the banks because the banks protect me from situations like this. Um, they protect me also because by using the banks, I am exempt from being a money transmission uh, provider, or let me see, money transmitter. I am also exempt of being there's some exemptions when you do transactions. Um, and one of those exemptions is if you use a money transmission, a money transmitter, a licensed money transmitter, or if you use a money business service. If you do that, you're exempt from being licensed as a money transmission business service by using a money transmission service, and also using a bank for the most part. Anybody who's a licensed Federal Reserve, whatever, whatnot, basically that would include banks and also credit unions. So there's, you know, that's why I use the banks, because I am exempt from any money business service license. I don't need one because I'm using one. So, I think it's important for people to understand the laws and understand what you're doing. And, don't be afraid to look into something or even ask. Um, so that's my point, is understand what's going on out there and protect yourself. Um, bear your arms. Empower yourself through knowledge and um, through your legal army, through your financing army, uh, your left arm, your right arm, you know. And if this is an issue, remember, we all have the power to change this. The laws are not set in stone. We can dispute them, and we can have them overturned, repealed, changed. So just be aware of this, people, okay? And that way you won't get yourself in trouble. You won't get your money seized. You won't have to go through costly, court battles for something that you didn't even do anything wrong. So beware of that, okay? All right. So let's go to a chart analysis. That was the end of my news episode, and I hope that helped, and I hope that helped all of you. So let's take a look and look at that price. Look at that price. Everyone's always looking at the price. So there's 372. So I've mentioned many times that in right here around 300, I've had my limit buys, and I kind of stopped there because if it broke down below that, I mean, it would have been a very hard crash down. So I had limit orders around 200 and 100, 50, 25, and all the way down to $7, which it never went that far. But it spiked down below, and now look at what's happening is it's been a steady rise. It was not like a spike like this. When I see spikes like that, I kind of get a little skeptical about its sustainability. And as you could tell, several times it's spiked up and just to go down, spiked up to go down. This, on the other hand, when you see a large spike down, I always expect to bounce back, but because there was the 300 limit sell order that broke through on Bitstamp, you don't see it on Bitfin here, but it broke through and came back, and then it slowly rised above this average, and you can see it wasn't like a big spike. It was just over time, it was gradually growing, and it finished up as a solid candlestick, which is a really good sign. The next candlestick, you see that it fell below it, but you can see it's just it broke above this, which none of these really broke above that much as this particular red candlestick here in the middle. And then it is now, it kind of looked like it, and if you look at this candlestick here, you can see that it touched this average, this weighted average 10 period, and you can see that it was a support now versus a resistance. So like this would be a resistance. Now you can see this is being a support, and you can see the two averages getting really close together. And then on top of that, you know, you should always wait until the candlestick finishes before you you know, make a judgment on where the price is going. But it looks like here, if it stays above the 25 period average, you have a really good signal, a really good buying signal. You could do a couple things. You could just wait and see. You could put some buy orders above the spot price. You could buy some right now, or you could go ahead and try to put some buy orders below the spot price, but following the 10 period average, because now the 10 period average is acting as support, pushing and driving the price up. And so this could be the turnaround. There's only one thing missing though, and that is the price has to be higher than the last high. So it has to actually go at least high or even higher, and it's nice if it finished higher as well. So that's the only thing that's missing, but I think that might be coming up, because 400 is probably going to be the resistance here, because that's around the price of this last high right here. And so if it breaks through 400, then you're looking at 450, and then if you pull back a little bit, you're looking at 500 right here, and then eventually you could look at 550 and then 600. It's not going to just all burst up, you know. Of course, it's going to range up and down, and but you can see where it's retracing back up. So people talk about retracements. There's two ways you can look at it. Retracement after it goes up and retracing back down, and then the other way where it goes down, then it's retracing back up. So depending how you look at it, you know, there's some good opportunity. I've gotten my Bitcoins that I want at 300, around 300, and I'm gonna sit on those. I'm not going anywhere. I've decided whatever I bought at the amount that I bought, I'm not gonna do anything with those. Those are literally my free Bitcoins. I bought them with gains from my trades. I have no risk in it. If you were all smart, you did the same, and you have no risk. There's no reason for you to panic if the price goes up. There's many reasons for you to celebrate if the price starts going up. And it's gone up. So if you bought anywhere between, let me see here, anywhere between anywhere between 300 and 325, if you bought anywhere around there, or anything below 300, and you've been trading all this time and you had gains, you know, you have to consider that the gains you made, you just bought Bitcoins. So essentially, they're just free Bitcoins with no risk. And why at that point, why would you want to sell them? Those are, I highly recommend holding on to those, and I'm holding on to those, and I got the amount that I wanted, and the price that I wanted. What I think it's a pretty good price. I haven't seen these prices since November of last year, before it took off. The price took off to 1,000. So um, kind of history repeats itself, right? Anyways, I don't know if it's going to go up to 1,000, but I know that I've been trading all that time. I made my gains. I took my gained um, money or whatever and bought in again at a lower price, and essentially have no risk. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy because now I know I have a guaranteed amount of Bitcoins that I'm always going to have, and I'm waiting for that one day. That one day where Bitcoin goes to infinity. And I'm not going to sell to anybody, okay? I'm not going to sell to anybody. I'm going to have it because I'm going to use it for a very special, very, very special reason. And, you know, um, maybe not. I don't know. But I rather have it than not have it. Because when the time comes where I need to use it, you got to have it to use it, right? You can't use something you don't have. You can't give somebody a Bitcoin that you don't have. So that's just my take on it. Anyways, I hope this chart analysis helped. And let's look at the prices here. And so let's look at the price. Bitstamp at 373, BitC at 366, Bitfin, and the Chinese Hobu. I don't know how to say it. They're all at 373. So they all paired up. They used to be a little different, where Bitstamp was higher and then Bitfin was lower, and Chinese was kind of higher, the highest at the point. Now they've all evened out. So I would suspect, this is kind of a little late at night, I would suspect that the Chinese market is now open and or starting to open. Australian markets are open, and so they're probably seeing the really good price movement going up, and they're performing arbitrage, Bitstamp, Bitfin, and maybe through the different various Chinese exchanges. So then again, maybe people are up and they're doing arbitrage into the Chinese market. Who knows? In any case, that's the price, and as long as BitC is lower and everything else is higher, to me that's a really good sign that there's pressure going upwards. Not all the time, but at least the short term. And so far, it looks like that's what's happening. My greatest fear was the when the price was starting to hit up against this average, and it did go down a little bit, and then it went up, and then it ended up finishing down. Now it's the last candlestick. We gotta wait until it's finished. But if it can finish above this average, that's a really good sign. The next thing it has to do, it has to finish above this high and stay above it, and then the next thing after that high. So look for those kind of indications, and then you're going to see this flip over, and the 10 period average be on top, and it may ride this average up, bounce off of this being support. But if it does break down, look to the 25 period average after it moves around, and after this crosses over, if it breaks down below it, look for a buying opportunity around the price of this 25 period average as it goes down on the bottom, and this starts going up on the top. So look for that, and then hopefully this can help you out and help you with your trades. And I hope you all can make a gain, because every time you make a gain, that's almost like getting free money, in my opinion. And with that free money, you can just go buy a free Bitcoin. And depending how you want to do things, you could sit on it and just not have any risk, and watch it go back up to 10,000, 100,000, a million, to infinity. So Anyway, that's just my opinion. You can do whatever you all want to do with your Bitcoin or your money. Um, but hopefully, if you're watching my video, you're watching it for a reason, because you've seen me, do chart analysis, and hopefully I've helped a lot of people have a better understanding of price action and all that, and help you with your trades, because I want everyone to make a gain, and and I want you all to use your gains and make a difference in the world. All right. Uh, the easiest way would be to probably spend your money, and that would stimulate the economy. But if anything, if you can advance the use of Bitcoin in any way, shape, or form, if you can advance the use of the blockchain technology, if you can advance the awareness of what Bitcoin can bring to an individual to empower themselves, to bear arms, to stand up against oppression, tyranny, and enslavement, do something. Make a difference, is what I say. And hopefully we can all live a wonderful life. You know. So anyway, this is gonna end my episode here. I think I talked enough. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, even leave a video response. Until next time, stay tuned.